Division 3. We are here tonight at round 8 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you guys do remember last week, it was round 8 at Mexico, but we had some complications with the servers, so we're making Bahrain the round 8 of the season. I am your commentator Justin, or Just Gaming, however you guys prefer, and of course, as always, we have Chris and Mud in the chat. How you doing, my man?
Hello Justin, first of all I hope you are okay. Yes, last week unfortunately we had some issues, so we're going to proceed with the following race. This race being in Bahrain, under the floodlights of Bahrain, under that hot temperatures. Usually the chances of rain are very low, so it's almost impossible to have a rainy race. But yeah, let's see. I'm good and I hope you are okay as well, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, everything's been alright. Of course, guys, I wasn't here on Monday for the Elite Division. Some last-minute help in town from my mother needed to take care of. Her car broke down, so I'm there rushing in town, going all over the place to all of the car shops I can find to try and find a specific part in the engine. It was like a battery recharge thing, like the alligator clips, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. But we got all that sorted again. Sorry for my absence on Monday, but we are here tonight for Division 3. So let's get this show on the road. We have 18 drivers here actually, Chris, so a good turnout tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I am seeing that we have 3 spectators. There's even Andre spectating, so I think he's going to be the official steward for this race, especially for after what happened last week. So yeah, 18 drivers, I'm a little bit surprised, because we should be 17. Maybe it's counting Andre as well.
Yeah, actually, we could at some point talk with Andre about having a let's say a mid-race stewarding potentially, just to keep things a little bit spicy, let's say, for the race to come. However, it's just us two in the comms books as always. We'll queue in with Andre whenever we need him. But I'm looking at the chat, so Noxer, Wiki, and Ben, how you all doing? Good to see you guys in here. We have 7 viewers here tonight with 18 drivers on the field. I'm very excited. I missed last week, and I missed Monday. Now I don't have to miss it anymore because I'm back here tonight. Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, I'm telling the drivers to ready up as we speak, and we'll get this division going as well.
Alright, sounds good. It's Wednesday, then it's DPR Thursday. Well, hopefully for you, Ben, it's a Wednesday for you. So hopefully you win, but of course no favoritism. Let's see if everyone gives their effort, because we have a short qualifying here tonight at a 29-lap track here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And I do gotta say, Chris, Bahrain, it's kind of the middle parts of everything. It's coming to a point where Bahrain, where it's like there's a lot of straights, there's a lot of easy overtaking spots, but there's a lot of very difficult spots that catches out even the best of the best.
Yes, I mean, Bahrain is that kind of track that it has everything that you need to have in terms of speed, high speed corners, lower speed corners, U-turns, and also the tire strategies. The only thing that it doesn't have is the possibility of having some rain within this track. But for the rest, it's I think it has a little bit of everything. It's like a jack of all trades for Formula 1.
Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see if these drivers can tame the beast of Bahrain. But actually, as we make our way into qualifying, let's actually get a brief description of the Bahrain Grand Prix, where of course the 3 sectors, as always. 15 corners make up the Bahrain Grand Prix, where that sector 2 is going to be the kicker. It's really going to get all of these drivers a little bit messed up potentially coming into the race. Of course, when you have like for me, there's only like 2 key points of this track that really catches my eye when it comes to difficult parts. So you have the downhill left-hander, that double apex of turns 9 and 10. Very crucial to get on the throttle without spinning yourself around, but it's very easy to do that, especially with no traction control. And then as you make your way up to the end of Sector 2 into Sector 3, turns 12 and 13, that uphill S, all the way down to a sharper right-hander of turn 13, down that straight. It's very difficult to get that, especially with the elevation change. So hopefully the suspension definitely aids these drivers. But first person out of the pit lane is going to be Wiggy as he starts off his outlap.
Yes, I couldn't agree more when it comes to your approach of this track and how people need to mangle with this track, especially when this leak does not use traction at all. So it is a leak with no traction, only ABS, corner racing line and gearbox are the allowable assists allowed for the game. But yeah, I mean, turns 12, 13, those assists and that elevation change, if you don't get it right or you touch the curb, it's instant GG for the driver. And I have done it in the elite division, so yes, I know what you are saying. And as I said, this track has everything when it comes to the elevation changes. Maybe not that much, but you know, just enough. The curves, the deadly curves, the less deadlier curves, the high speed corners, it's everything in here. And the strategies, of course, the tires here heat up very, very quickly. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether it's going to be a one-stop strategy or a two-stop strategy, whether being with the soft to hards, soft to mediums, soft, medium, soft, medium, medium. Any kind of strategy is possible in this track.
Of course, but also with it actually being nighttime as well, usually at the Bahrain Grand Prix, it actually aids a little bit with the tire strategies as well. Cooler temperatures, cooler track temperatures as well. And it's going to help with those set of rubbers to last even longer. But of course, like the F2 and the F3 in real life, they have a little bit more of an extra challenge because they actually do it during the day, and especially in the desert of Bahrain. Very, very difficult to keep control of those set of rubbers and how quickly they deteriorate. But we're actually currently on board with Wiggy as he makes his way now towards turn 8 after entering sector 2. And this is the corner that I was talking about here, just up ahead. This downhill double left-hander of turn 9 and 10. Very difficult to try and get on the throttle without spinning as well. You can see Wiggy shaking that wheel, just trying to get the traction in there. But he's able to make his way down towards turn 11. And this is what I was saying, turn 11, then 12 and 13. The elevation change can really mess him up. And you can see Wiggy just continuously shaking that wheel, just trying to counter steer and counter effect the let's say the momentum of spinning that Haas car as he makes his way up to turn 13 now.
Yeah, that's true. But overall, he's finishing the last couple of corners here. Hopefully gets a good exit without spinning the car. As we see, Mosherted has just spun the car. So we have a pure example with Wiggy setting a 128.743 and being the fastest guy, setting up the bar for the rest.
Well, Sizzle says that challenge of a time was way too easy for him. Goes up to a 128.135 and then knocks crossing the line as well. First to go into the 129s. But still, very good times here for Division 3 as we make our way now. 14 minutes left of qualifying. Still waiting for the drivers to make themselves around the track and let themselves actually get a good time. Of course, Mosher had a little bit of a spin. I saw a spin actually as well in turn 4. Very crucial with that elevation change. But I don't know how much you've been into Formula 1 actually, Chris. I've only been like less than a year, but one thing I actually did a little bit of research on, Bahrain, when it was first introduced, it actually has gone through a little bit of phases throughout the years. Where you see this middle sector of Sector 2 with turns 9 and 10 very crucial, then you have turn 12. Before, it actually used to be just one whole circle type of thing. So you would have turn 1, 2, and 3, and 4 normal. But instead of going down towards turn 5, 6, and 7, instead you would go left up the hill on turn 5, and then it's kind of like a wave at the top as you make your way down towards the now turn 14 and 15.
Yes,
and
in fact, it was used, I think, in the 2010 or 2011 Grand Prix, and it was done during the day, that part of the track. So the race was actually done during the day.
And it does make sense as well with it actually being like that. You don't have that much traction errors out there. So with it giving themselves a little bit more corners, of course they had to put out the night to just make sure those compounds actually last, because If this track was like this during the day, I would definitely see those softs probably getting deteriorated at the end of lap 6 instead of potentially lap 10.
Yep, 100%, 100%. You have mentioned the part where after turn 4 the track goes like from the outside part. That part was also used to as a conjunction between turn 4 and, as we know it now, turn 13 in the 2020 Formula 1 race in Sakir. The race where the rear George Russell, reserved in the Mercedes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and he had a very good race. It was just unfortunate that it got it taken away with him practically with the mixed tire compound sets. But I'm actually currently on board with TSM Elite. Placid Ben in the chat. Let's see how he does. He actually set a purple sector 2, so it could be a very good time here for the McLaren as he sprints towards the timing line. Is it a new pole sitter? It's not, but it's currently 8th place, 8th fastest, a 128.859 for him. Good time right there for TSM Elite.
And I think he can improve maybe a couple of tenths as well, so that could be a good contender for him and the McLaren. And he just said, I think in the Discord chat, that it's not a track that he likes, but it seems that he fancies it a little bit with that 128.859.
Well, he's doing pretty well so far. Let's see if he can keep this momentum going. But we're actually now on board with Alex Alt as he comes across turns 14 and 15. As he makes his way now towards the timing line for the Mercedes. Struggled in the real life season so far at Bahrain for the season premiere. And only a 5th place for Alex Alt, 128.546. And actually with me talking about the real life scene, actually, Chris, of Formula 1. Would you say that Mercedes was the biggest shock in that race for you?
Well, I think there's worse. I think there's the McLaren, and as we speak, there's TSM8 who has just retired at the end of turn 12. I think at the start of turn 12.
And Sizzle's passing by as well. So good awareness there from Sizzle. And yeah, with me, I gotta agree with you. With me being a McLaren fan, I was not too happy with that.
Yeah,
not too happy with seeing that at all.
Lando and Ricardo at the almost very back, especially Ricardo. Of course, Ricardo, you can give him the blame because, of course, he was with the COVID and he had to self-quarantine, so he didn't put enough practice on that new car to really analyze this new concept, this new regulation implied within these new F1 2022 cars. But yeah, I mean, I think there are some steps and corrections to be made from the McLaren team. Of course, there was the Aston Martin as well, which for me, it was a very nice car when it comes to the visuals, but then it wasn't transposed to be an also fast car, you know?
Yeah, but hopefully they improve when it comes to the next race.
Yeah,
which,
that is the nice.
where it is.
That is the nice thing of the Formula One. It keeps on evolving day in day out. So you can't just say that McLaren has a bad car now, or Aston Martin, or Williams. Despite seeing teams like Haas, Alfa Romeo, and Ferrari getting back within the top 10 drivers, you can't rule out the other cars. Because the cars, they keep on developing, they keep finding the optimal performance of the car during the season. Yeah. So I would expect the teams like McLaren, teams like Williams, even Mercedes to radically improve the performance of the car. And teams like the other teams like Haas, Alfa Romeo, they might slow down a little bit during the course of the season. But again, it's a new regulation, anything can change, and it's a long season. But that's the thing
though as well, I'm not too sure about the Haas, that's the thing. Like, I think that they're going to have a very good season, not just because of what happened at Bahrain with Kevin Magnussen, but also if you truly think about it, Haas team did not develop their 2021 car at all. they just did not even bother with upgrading that car, and they used all of their effort in the new car for 2022, and it really showed with Kevin Magnussen. Of course, Mick Schumacher still has a lot to learn, so I think Kevin Magnussen is really going to be the one carrying the Haas team. And with Mick Schumacher, he has like a very, very good, let's say, veteran for the Haas team by his side to really learn some lessons. Of course, he learned some lessons from his father of the historic Michael Schumacher, but
yeah.
But I think he still has a lot to learn.
Yeah. I mean, these kind of situations shows you when certain drivers, even if they are prescribed to be destined for greatness, like Mick Schumacher, especially because of his name, drivers like Kevin Magnussen can help him a lot develop the required experience that he needs to have. And to add to that, besides Haas using the 2 tokens for the 2022 season rather than using any from the 2021 season, don't forget that the Haas is a Ferrari power-trained car. So the engine is Ferrari, and we all know that Ferrari is currently, I think,
on top.
It has started on top. So expect teams like Alfa Romeo and the Haas, which are Ferrari power-trained cars, to be on top as well.
Well, we did see the debut of the rookie Guan Yu Zhou make his way into the top 10.
Slight correction, Justin. It's Zhou.
Zhou Guan Yu.
Yeah, it's Zhou Guan Yu because he had.
Zhou Guan Yu, yeah.
I recall.
But that's the thing. That's the thing with Asian names that I don't really understand. Like if you think about the South Korean footballer of Heung-min Son or Son Heung-min, everyone says it a bit differently with the 3 names. So I'm not entirely sure how it goes, to be honest with you. I've always heard Zhou Guan Yu. I've always heard Guan Yu Zhou. I just don't know which one it is, to be honest with you.
That is true. In fact, for the lineup, it's still not for the lineup. For the table that shows on the left, it's still SZHO, so it means Zhou. But
yeah,
he wanted to call himself Zhou Guan Yu instead of Guan Yu Zhou, as we have initially known him during his F2 career.
Yeah, cause he was actually in a Renault car for the F2 season. Like he was in like the Renault livery, I believe. Was it the Renault livery or was it the Alpine with Zhou Guan Yu?
I think he was with the Alpine livery.
Was it the Alpine?
Because he was part of the Alpine team, I think. I'm not 100% sure though. However, of course, given that he is Chinese with his sponsorships and everything, and Alfa Romeo Orlen was going to, of course, have a driverless with Kimi Raikkonen retiring from F1 2021. I think Zhou Guan Yu can show us what he's got, and with that P10 last Sunday, it shows us that he's not just about the money, but also about the game. Hopefully, he keeps developing to be destined for greatness, and it's very nice to see, of course, a Chinese guy, the first ever Chinese guy, I think, to drive for Formula 1 car, and he got his first point as well. So I can only wish him the best.
But the funniest thing for me, though, I gotta say, the funniest thing for me, though, from what I saw after the race, was there was a video on YouTube about Chinese reporters or commentators, I forget which one it was, but they were talking about like going play-by-play of the actual race, and they went absolutely ballistic, as we just saw Sizzle as well in the Alpine, getting a 127.572, so breaking the 128-second barrier, now into the 127s. But yeah, so there was this whole video about like Chinese commentators / reporters about having their reaction to Guan Yu Zhou getting into the top 10, and they went absolutely ballistic. It was very, very funny, I gotta say.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I'm sure it
you
is.
love to see that as well, though. You love to see that as well.
I might, if you send me the link, I might try and see
I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. I'll have to show you after, to be honest with you, or if not during a safety car, or actually
Yeah,
during the
sure.
break after qualifying, as qualifying is close to being done. Currently have a yellow flag of the Aston Martin of Daedalus on the DRS straight. You have 2 minutes now left of qualifying. So far, Sizzle breaks out of the 128.1s and into the 127.5s. Can anyone get close to that? Mohammed Gunner actually had it for a long time at 128.111 for Mohammed Gunner.
I don't think that Mohammed Gunnar is going to go out anytime soon because he's still in the pits, and I think he's happy with that 128.111. He's still in the pits.
And
In
yeah,
fact,
he's definitely, yeah. There you go, that solidifies it right there. He has retired into the pit lane, and he is happy with that front row seat for the time being. But can Thomas actually steal it off of him? Only 6 thousandths of a second behind, so it's going to be very, very close there. We just saw Ethan Haynes actually move up to 8th place of 128.337 for him. But I do gotta say, everyone in the top 10 are using softs except for it's your boy Mike, who did a 128.213 on the set of mediums. So we could be seeing some major pace from the Aston Martin driver.
yeah, I would expect him to be very, very pacey for the latter half of the race. Maybe he just keeps up at the start of the race, but then when he goes to the alternate strategy, that's where his pace will truly evolve.
Well,
And
let's see Zajman.
Ooh.
A 128 flat for Zajman there, and then Noxer breaks into the 127s as well. Has one more lap left to go. Thomas Frost, I believe, is right into Sector 3. He is improving by a 10th, got a purple Sector 1. He's currently in the 127s. Let's see if he can keep on pushing and take that pole sitter. Time is up now in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So Sizzle so far settles with a 127.5. But let's see, is anyone else going to take that position? Thomas Frost is currently on a fast one now. We're actually going to go on board on him for the rest of this lap as he's up turn 12 now. He's improved. Actually, no, he has lost time in Sector 2, down 2 tenths. He really needs to kick off turn 14 and 15 to utter perfection to make his way up past Mohammed Gunner. As he now makes his way, breaks around the 100 meter, hits the apex on the inside, just misses on the curb on the outside, but he's reaching the timing line, and he does improve to a 128.052. So a good time right there for Thomas Frost. Not good enough to get above Zajman though, but he's still going to settle for that second row. But let's see, Zajman is not on a lap.
I'm seeing Noxer. He's improving by 5 tenths. He's improving by 5 tenths, and he's finishing the last turn. He's turning on the DRS. And he takes it! What the
And he takes it! As we saw in the real life scene, Noxer in the Ferrari takes pole position at the Bahrain Grand Prix, a staggering 127.157. These drivers are really improving their pace over the upcoming of weeks and months. Extraordinary pace there from Noxer, taking pole position by 4 tenths, and you gotta say that he is ecstatic about that time right there.
Yeah, it's a 127.1. I think I have done it in the Division 1 with no ABS, but that's a very respectable time for Noxer. And I know Noxer loves this track in particular. He's very good in this track. So I was expecting
he did it when it counted.
Yeah. And remember, when it comes to the standings, Noxer is leading the Division 3 championship, given that unfortunately the previous championship leader, Dart Assassin, has left the server, so that puts Noxer currently in P1 for the Division 3, and this would only help him to be in a better position to extend his lead.
Well, let's see if he can keep that momentum going into the race start.